Previously on Goodfellas of Baltimore.
Now, these are guys who are running their own businesses. I hope that we can become an inspiration.
When I got the call from AJ, he said that we had some families that needed some help, and he was trying to get a group of 7 people together to try to expand upon what we can do individually and do it as a group.
This first episode of Goodfellas of Baltimore is helping the Kiosi family, a family whose house was devastated by fire.
She had said she smelled smoke.
It was almost like a dream, like it really wasn't happening.
Before the fire, there was a lot more room to move around.
I have a feeling he'll do a great job as well.
And he decided to put the return in the middle of my kitchen.
That if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. We want people to be a part of the solution.
I believe Baltimore is trying to find its balance. There's a need for what we do. You know, in Baltimore, there's over 100,000 people out of a job right now in the community. You know, that they need employment, they need housing. That our homeless population grows every day. And it's not necessarily because people want to be homeless, for various reasons, of course, unemployment and other reasons. They've lost their home, they need help. And Baltimore's struggling with trying to help them, and like most other cities, they're struggling with their accounting and their funding to have the funds to do those type of things. So it takes programs like Catherine's Closet, the Chu Smith Foundation, Goodfellas, you know, the Community Action Agency, all of us coming together to help the community, help Baltimore help its own people. We have to come together as a group and do our own little piece. Everybody has a little piece they can do to help somebody else. It's just making us aware of it and waking that up in the individuals.
I love the people. It's a wonderful community. I've always enjoyed it. I always made sure that in any of my stories, the ethnic communities were represented. Never just put Caucasian people in my pieces. I always make sure there were African Americans in my stories. It is a city of so many strata that it's not an easy fix. You've got to get a hold of the crime, and you've got to rebuild the neighborhoods that are collapsing. You've got to tear down the abandoned homes and perhaps put some public housing. And the budget crunch comes, and after-school programs are killed, and sports and music and art and rec centers are closed down. And all that does is lead to more difficulty on the street.
Because you free them up for whatever the street wants to sell.
All right, go. Go ahead, get me. Stop. Were you surprised? Were you surprised?
Yes, I was.
You were surprised.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah, told you strong.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I mean,
That surprised the shit out of him.
Yeah, right, exactly, because he thought he was going to toss you.
Baltimore has the potential to become an Atlanta, a Charlotte, or even a post-Renaissance Harlem, but we keep finding ourselves being pushed back in time. It's amazing that with a city that is majority African Americans, you're not seeing African Americans really lead in a prominent or a pronounced way in terms of business and industry. Population does not equate to power. And as a consequence, we have over a 50% dropout rate. STD levels are astronomical. Unemployment is through the roof. Abject poverty is everywhere. After you get past the Inner Harbor and Johns Hopkins, it really looks like Beirut and Lebanon. And so I think at some point we have to awaken the sleeping giant in Baltimore, not allow all of our good talent and great families to move to the suburbs looking for a better way of life, but to really begin to recalibrate what it is that we have here. And right now there is no principle or vision for Baltimore. They're just ideas and events. At some point we've got to figure out in a real tangible way, maybe crime has gone up since we closed the recreation centers. Maybe the education has gone down because our teachers are not being paid in a competitive rate. Maybe Baltimore is not developing at the pace that it should because all of the housing is low to median housing, that Baltimore has no gated communities. They have nothing that really would be an attraction. And the reality is it's incestuous inbreeding. Baltimoreans are just moving from East Baltimore to West Baltimore to Owens Mills to back to Baltimore. But something has to cause as a magnet to draw people into Baltimore.
I've lived here my whole life. I have no interest in leaving, although I travel a ton and enjoy the travel part. But you know, we made a decision that we're going to live downtown and raise kids downtown just because of the, partially because of the, you know, what the city has to offer and, you know, the urban living and being able to walk everywhere, but also part just because it's real life. Right. You know, in some ways, it's different. I mean, I want our kids to see all the stuff that we're doing from a mentoring standpoint and see it firsthand that's, you know, that's what's important.
At the Inner Harbor, how is it in a city that's 87% black, not one sit-down soul food restaurant? How in a city that's 87% black, no bed and breakfast owned by minorities? So things that are just regular and mundane for those of us who have traveled that we see in New Orleans that has rebuilt after Katrina, in Atlanta that rebuilt after Jim Crow and civil rights, in Birmingham that has had almost the same amount of African-American leadership that we have had. We have not made that same kind of steady progression. So progress for us is not just having a museum with a black man's name on it, but having the jobs of the construction workers who were able to get the contract. When President Obama gave his State of the Union address, his main principle was jobs. Not Afghanistan, not health care, not the Tea Party, but jobs. Every time the mayor speaks, every time the president of the city council speaks, every time a pastor gets behind the pulpit, he ought to be speaking about employment and self-esteem. And if we can get those two issues really as the undergirding belly in Baltimoreans, then we can go back to our motto, which is to believe.
Have you been in contact
No,
with
I haven't seen them.
So the follow-up has kind of been lacking?
Yeah, I don't really know. It's been a couple weeks. So, and I know it's not finished. I don't know when they're gonna come back and finish.
Okay, so what we got is Ken wants to try to, while we're in here doing all this fun stuff, he wants to get this whole old bathroom out.
Okay.
So we took down the wall. The wall's gone, and here's a pretty new wall.
Who built this?
Mr. Chiosi himself.
Wow, okay.
So he did this last night. He took his last vacation day to finish this wall. So the next thing is we need a countertop and appliances. I've put calls in to people, but haven't had anybody willing to commit yet.
Okay.
The HVAC, they're going to move now. Still need HardieBacker board, some type of subfloor to put down on that whole first floor, because that floor is just too weak for us to put any ceramic tile.
And any ideas where we can get that?
I got lots of ideas, but I haven't had anybody willing to give it to me yet.
Okay.
We got to really try to go through and, you know, get this place as sealed as possible before we regularly run this heat and cause them a lot of money.
Okay.
That's it.
Beautiful. You're doing a great job. Keep it up, man.
I'm trying.
The episode with the Kiosis. It's just a lot of work still left to be done because we got to tighten everything up.
Yes, we do.
I know that William is working hard. And
So we're getting closer.
You know, one of the things that William has probably rightfully so expressed some frustration throughout this first task that he's done brilliantly with, but
First one is never easy. It gets easier.
I hope so. Is it like the restaurant business?
It's the same. The first one is the hardest one, but then it gets easier.
All right. You have how many employees?
I have over 500.
Okay. I mean, just the amount of managers that you manage, and then they manage the rest of the folks, has got to be a lot of people.
But, you know, I surround myself with great people, and I'm only as good as they are. And I have a great management team here, and they do a great job. Okay. I couldn't do it all by myself.
Yeah.
You know, when it was 1 and 2, yes, but now, you know, with 9, it's very difficult. So you need your support team in place, and just like we get in our support team in place.
Right. What's the most important thing that we need to do right now as a group for us to get to the next level so we can help more people more effectively? Because I think it's going to be really critical, especially, you know, going from this first task with William, going to the second one, because I personally think, you know, we could have done some things a whole lot better, but we're, you know, like, it is the first task, and I'd love to hear from you.
I think we just need another 2-3 days a week.
Oh, man. How about something that's doable? Another 10 hours in a day?
Yeah, we need to increase the 14, 16 hours a day to 20 hours a day, which is very difficult. But, you know, nothing is going to be easy. I mean, we never said that it was going to be easy.